of every student is excellent. And I am very glad that you are here with me today. It's great having you here. Today, we'll be looking at something very, very unique, and we'll be looking at the progress of an excellent student. The progress of an excellent student. Every student have a progress, a track they have to follow to be able to be excellent. You don't just become excellent because you got an admission. No. You don't become excellent because you are within the four walls of the school. You don't become excellent because you joined everybody and probably you attended class, go into reading for some time, join your friends in going for tutorials and those things. That's not what makes you the best of the clan. The truth is, for everyone who would be the best, just like I said the last time, you must be able to give yourself to some basic strategic work process. And I'll be starting with that this week. Because the truth is, for the life you want to live, you have the choice of making your life better right from now. So it starts from first looking at what am I able to do with my life. So you're looking at your life from the possibilities that can come out of it, and most times the solutions you are also trying to achieve determines how far you can get in life. The solutions you are trying to achieve determines the length and the sacrifice of your effort towards that thing. Earlier today, I was in a class and I was trying to teach some students, and they were like, and one student said, I don't understand this. And immediately he said that something struck in my head, and that is the fact that he was absent in my previous class. Because I know the flow of thought that I had written on the board was something that he should be able to relate to if he had been in my foundational class. Now, personally for me, the way I do my things is that I ensure that I lay a good foundation in my initial classes so that by the time you get to the next class and the next class and the next class, I can build on that foundation and I can confidently say that everyone who is in that avenue would actually have made a good reasoning of the process as it goes. So if there is a possibility that a student is not getting it by the third, fourth class, it just shows that it was not there when I laid the foundation. So, and that's why we started with foundations. Foundations are important. The foundations of your mindset, the foundations of your proper thought and thinking, the foundation of your planning and purpose, the foundation of strategic action, the foundation of right connection, the foundation of right resources. So, we are looking at the progress of an excellent student. Don't forget, every student is excellent, including you. You can be excellent. It's just that you have not made the choice. Another person came to see me and he said, Sir, I know the effort I put in the first semester. And this your quiz I have missed. I don't want to go through the stress I went through. That's now quote and unquote the stress I went through to get a B in your exam last semester. And it just gave me a signal that, oh, the student is not ready to study. So because if he was ready to study, this quiz you have missed is just about 10 marks. And if all you've missed is 10 marks, you can make up for it if you really did what was right, or if you really are considering doing what is right. Because 10 marks, you still have 90 marks to fight for. If I have 90 marks to fight for, I will give all in to ensure I get 80. And I don't have to get 80 to even get an A. So, as a student, and the context of studentship is not if you are in the university alone or if you are in a secondary school or if you are in a primary school. The context of studentship is any area of life. You can be a student in every aspect of life. In the previous section, I talked about the fact that I wanted to study, I wanted to play the guitar. And at that time, I needed to focus more because as an engineering student, your 200 level, you can't joke with it. But that's when I added distraction to myself. And my results obviously fell. So once there is a distraction in a place, so if I have gone ahead to follow the instruction of my guitarist or my guitar tutor, and I was doing the plan of 6 hours a day rehearsing, I would probably have become one of the best students he had or come out excellent in that thing. So it deals with my priority. I made the choice to be a student. So the growth of a student starts with the choice to be a student. What's that choice that you are making? The choice to be a student. So the first level is the choice of studentship. And if you're not in the four walls of a formal class, maybe you are learning a trade or you are learning a skill, we can call it the stage of apprenticeship. So the place of becoming a student or the place of apprenticeship. So the choice of staying as somebody's student or staying as somebody's apprentice. That is the first level of your progress as an excellent person. So I made the choice, and that choice is what brought me to the environment where I am. And for most of the time, whenever somebody makes a choice to become a student or makes a choice to be an apprentice, you are not the only one. Some other persons got qualified. It means that on day one, everybody was on the same plane. Everybody had the same exposure, had the same advantage. Sincerely, we don't want to know what you are passing through when you come into a situation that gives you a level playing ground. Yes, other issues might be happening in your life. There might be some challenges that are occurring that needs urgent attention. Possibly on the day a person falls sick, another student is agile. And everybody have their fair share of struggles in life. So if you make your struggles look like the only struggles that can ever exist, you have given yourself an illusion that will not give you success. So if I had made the choice of becoming a student or an apprentice, that's my choice. And in studentship, we all make our choice to come to the environment, not just come to environment to the environment to make ourselves available so that we can access our tutors. So initially, for every student there is a tutor, or for every student group there is a tutor. So the environment creates you with gives you the opportunity not just to have a place of study or a place of community, a community where you can meet with other people of like minds, but it also gives you tutors. Apart from giving you tutors, it gives you tools to work with. So there are tutors, there are tools. So every tutor have their own style. So you must understand that every environment where you come in as a student have a tutor. The reason why you are a student is because you are lacking in knowledge. You lack knowledge in a particular aspect, and it is believed that once you make the choice to come in as a student, you don't stop at that point where you get the relevance of a student. You move beyond that point and get committed in that environment. So you get committed in the community. Most times, for every first class in a school setting or in a training setting, it is not the teacher or the tutor that comes in contact with you first. Many a times, we will have an advantage of meeting a registration officer. Sometimes the registration officer can be your tutor, especially if it is in the place of a sole proprietorship apprenticeship. So when you have a sole proprietor and you are now under, let's say a person wants to be an hairdresser or a barber or something, and or even a tech person, and the person you are registering with is also the same person that will teach you. But most times in a formal organization, you have registration officers. Those persons are privileged to welcome you and may never come into the class to teach you, but they can be and begin to watch you for what you do or what you are. And because of that, the next set of people you really meet and mingle with is the community of people you are going to stay with all through the period of time. Eventually, tutors will change because there might be tutor for maybe lesson one or module one or course one. There is another tutor for course two. So there are tendencies for you to have different opportunities and different persons teaching you. And once you have tutors, you have tools. So those tools enable you to maximize the environment. So the tools can be the classroom, can be your chairs, can be your board, can be your markers, can be your laptops, can be your resources, your materials. So those tools can be your materials. They are the second thing to come in contact with. So after your tutors, but majorly in the community where you have fellow students. So you are not the only one that came into that environment and are expected to enjoy the teaching of the person. So because you are not the only person, then you must begin to understand that you have strengths and you have weaknesses. For example, I have my own strength, I have my own weakness. In a class of 20, There will be somebody else whose strength is in the area of my weakness. And that means that every community, for every community to work, every person needs to work hand in hand. You need to cooperate with other people, fill in the gap. There is a gap in my life. I need somebody else to fill that gap. And once you don't realize that another person can fill the gap that you are lacking, you will obviously have issues. There would be problems if you cannot identify the gaps that needed to be filled in your life and in the life of people around you. So the second people you meet is the community of people that got the same opportunity as you are. So they are also students. But when you move from first interaction of students, and that's why you have to be open to why should you be open? You must be open because you must complement others' strengths and also help other weaknesses, while you trust that other people will help you with your strengths and would help you work on your weaknesses. So as a student, you would always have strengths, you would always have weaknesses, and you must locate on time people in the community of fellow students that would help you to fit into that strength or that weakness. Number two is your tutors. So there would be several tutors. Even if you have one tutor, there will be several approaches. There will be several approaches to the way you do your things or the way the tutor takes you through. So several approaches, several styles. No two tutors would have the same approach. That's the truth. You cannot compare me to another lecturer. You cannot compare me to another tutor because we are first unique in our own selves and we have different strengths and weaknesses. And because you are our students, you have the tendency of seeing and comparing us with each other. I have seen many students over time that maybe at their final year, they begin to say, when they begin to do their posters for the final year, they would have things like favorite lecturers, favorite lecturers. And I see people that have made favorite lecturers for many students, different lecturers. So it means that somebody's strength appeals to that student, somebody's weaknesses is pissed off. So somebody's weakness pissed off a particular student, and they decided now that this lecturer is not good enough for me. But I have also discovered excellent students find what would make them like all their lecturers. So if you're having problem liking your tutors, you would struggle eventually with their course or with what they are teaching you. Because the first place to understanding is liking everything around whatever you are doing. So for you to understand things, you must like everything you are doing. Henry Ford once said, there is no man living who isn't capable of doing more than he thinks he can do. Let me repeat that again. There is no man living who isn't capable of doing more than what he thinks he can do. So it means that there is no person who cannot do beyond and above what they think they can do. So if you're looking at me as a person, I have the capacity to do more than what you are thinking I can do. And that's where the difference and our differences lie. You can always do more than what you think you can do. So, and because of that, we have different interactions in our lives. And as we proceed as a student, so your first level is a student, but suddenly you begin to discover that I am not just the student of this tutor. I am not just coming to this environment or this class because of the tutor space. I want more than what the tutor offers me in class. And I will go back to ensure that I know what this tutor is teaching, interact with, try to get to his mind, interact with his concepts, his ideas, go to look at what he has said over and over again. And you see, presently we have many things that can help you become more excellent. For example, we have applications online in our stores, maybe our Apple Store or Google Play, that would help you record everything that is happening in class. So you can literally be in class and just put your phone, sit in front, put your phone in front, and everything the lecturer is saying, you are capturing it. Yes, you might be writing your notes, but the voice recording is there. The translator is helping you translate or transmit it from voice to words. That's part of the advantage. Many years ago, we did not get that advantage because The technology had not yet advanced to this level. So it's important that whatever you do, you know that I am a student, I have a tutor, and that tutor expects me to not just come to his class, but to study everything he gives me and to produce them in whatever form. There are lecturers that want you to produce it verbatim as they gave you. There are others that would want you to add your ingenuity to it, and they want to see that you know what you are doing beyond them teaching you. So, practically speaking, we have many students who don't understand this. And if you don't understand that my studentship is connected to my tutors and my tools, there will be a problem. So it's just like a triangle. As a student, I am connected to a tutor and I have tools. And those tools vary from time to time. The tutor strategies, the tutor's plans, the tutor's purpose for coming to your class also varies from time to time. And it varies from persons to persons. So I can teach you a course in, let's say, 100 level and another course in 200, and my approach to both courses are completely different. For example, I'm an engineer and I lecture. I teach workshop practice. I teach applied mechanics. I teach aircraft structures. I teach aerodynamics. And the approach to these four courses are completely different. You cannot use my approach for applied mechanics for aircraft structures. You cannot use it for workshop practice. It's not going to work because workshop practice is sometimes full of words. Applied mechanics, sometimes words and basic physics and things like that. Aircraft structures, complicated assumptions and things. So it makes you want to know that anytime I am approaching a season or a teaching, I am approaching it with an open mind that it might be coming from the same person but with a different approach and strategy. Now, beyond being a student, as you grow to take on the heart of the tutor, as you grow to understand the points that your tutor is coming from, you leave the place of being a student and you become a protege. A protege is somebody who actively learns under somebody and takes on their life. So, and you cannot actively learn under somebody if you have not done your homework in ensuring that everything the person teaches, every knowledge the person imparts, you receive it as the truth and go back to read about it, look at it again, and grow your knowledge on it. So, most times, many of us struggle with the transition. So, many students remain students and don't grow to be proteges. They don't grow to be proteges. So a student, according to Merriam-Webster University, is somebody who studies something. A student is somebody who studies something. A protege is one who is given to humbly accepting all that is being taught and putting them to practice with the mindset of becoming better than the teacher. Let me come again. A student is somebody who studies something that is being taught or study something generally. A protege is somebody who is given to humbly accepting all that is being taught or communicated, putting them into practical reality with the mindset of making even the teacher better appreciated. So, most times, a student just wants to come to class and pass and go. But a protege wants to come to class, receive from the teacher or from the tutor, become more like the tutor, and at the end of the day, move in such a way that the tutor will be appreciated. So it means that if I see a student, it's just a student. But if I see a protege, it's a student that reflects the teacher. So if you as a student don't reflect your tutor, and that is why it's hard. You see many people. I was telling a story to some set of people on Tuesday, and I told them, I said, somebody went to learn hairdressing, and by the time she had learned the hairdressing, she became so good in such a way that when customers come in, our tutor will be seated and they will ask, where is this person? She's the one I want to do my hair for me. And if it's a day off, the customer can say, Oga, don't worry, I'll come back tomorrow. What does it mean? It means that if Oga is not careful, the person is going to take all of Oga's customer. Why? Because she did not just come as a student to learn. She had learned to the point that she is now better than the teacher. So many of us don't get to that point where you are better than your teacher. I have many students today that I have said, go and study this, go and study this, go and study this, go and learn this skill, go and learn this skill, go and learn this skill. Now, I don't even have time to learn that skill as such, but those students have learned the skills. There are many of them. Yeah, sometimes as tutors, it backfires because you will trust somebody beyond normal and feel that, oh, this person can do this, and he goes back and doesn't even acknowledge the fact that you bring them into such understanding. So, you are expected as a protege to bring out the glory of what your tutor had done. So it means that a protege marries his tools, and the end result of a protege is to make the teacher appreciated. So what it means is, if you are a student in a university setting and you graduate, and by the time you graduate and you are communicating outside, they cannot say, wait, please, which school did you go to? And they are saying, we cannot employ this one because he doesn't have what it takes. In fact, they can ask you, which school did you go to, so that the next time they see somebody that comes from that school, they just know that they don't have anything to offer. And that's how terrible some institutions are, because their students did not become proteges. Their students are not bringing the glory of the work of the environment. So your results sometimes tell us that you just remained as a student. You did not grow to be a protege. You did not progress to be somebody that will showcase the glory of our work. So if you choose to be a student, we know them. If you graduated with 2-2, you graduated with third class, or you graduated with pass. In fact, everybody that sees you outside know that this one just came to school, he was not too serious. But if you graduated with a first class or a 2-1, and they begin to interact with you, and you cannot defend your first class and 2-1 by the reason of knowledge or the questions that is being set on your table, we just know that you only came to the environment and you disgrace the environment. So you are not a protege. Yes. Then the last level that a student can attain to be manifesting excellence as he should is the level of a scholar. The level of a scholar. I wish that I can photocopy somebody's notes, or let's say booklet, exam booklet, and project it for you. You will discover that some persons have moved beyond just showing that their lecturers or their teachers or their tutors have poured into them, but they went ahead to create their own system of learning. And that's what a scholar is. A scholar is somebody who gives himself beyond just regular study, reading to show the lecturer's effort, but has produced something beyond what the lecturer can imagine. So you have a student who is connected to a tutor. He studies what the tutor has done, level 1. Level 2, he goes beyond what the tutor has done or has taught to know the principles, the details, and everything, and he is obviously going to be excellent as a protege. But beyond being a protege, he now decides to apply those things to real life situations and provide solutions to people around them. So it means that if a person is a scholar, he has become a teacher himself. So he has moved from being a student, moved from being a protege to being one who can deliver knowledge to whether it's classmates or people around him. So you can point to those scholars around, those that go the extra mile to understand the principles beyond what is being taught in class, and they can teach you. So, and these things is just about how much of sacrifice you can pay. All is connected to your level of sacrifice. A regular student will attend class but not study. A regular student, that is an average student, one who is not excellent, who does not have any business with excellence, will attend class. In fact, some don't have notes. I tell people, the first place you start with as a student is to attend class regularly and make sure you get there early. Number 2, have a note for each course. And number 3, write in that note during the class. So even if your teacher or your tutor is always running to explain everything, it's either you are recording, if you know you cannot jot fast, but it's also good that you jot during the class period, because some of us, we have many recordings we did not later listen to. You just have them on your note, on your phones, without listening to them. Then it goes ahead to have a note Then number 4, he listens with rapt attention without distraction. He listens with rapt attention without distraction. Number 5, after listening, he asks questions, intelligent questions around what is being taught. Number 6, such a student reads everything they are taught immediately the day ends and before the next class. Number 7, such a student practices real-time questions or examples and solutions that will be necessary and relevant for that class before the next class. Number 8, such a student envisages the test, quizzes, and exam questions before the exam. So you don't see a scholar that is looking for area of concentration. No, because a scholar is sensitive to the tutor. A scholar uses the tools well, and the scholar has taught his class what the teacher did not teach. So the truth is that many times what is being taught in our classes we don't understand. That's just the basic truth. There are many times what we are teaching in class, many of us don't understand. So many people don't understand what we are teaching in class. But there are some persons that they've listened with rapt attention, they understood it in class, they went back home to read for a long time, they read the notes, they looked out at principles in the textbook to confirm, they studied examples beyond what the tutor did in the regular class, and by the reason of that, they can come back to that class to teach you. By the time they begin to break it down, you are wondering, were we not in the same class? No, you are not in the same class. You came to class only to do your own thing, maybe your village thing. You just wanted to sit down in class, maybe mark attendance and say, let this lecturer just go in front and tie yourself, all this type of thing. And you are here. There's another person that was in that same class and is now teaching you as though he's even better than the lecturer. And that's one highlight of every scholar. They are better than the lecturer. There is one line of my favorite book I like. I think the Psalms of David. Psalms of David 119, verse 99 and 100. And that's how I'm going to round up today. That line, those two lines says, I have more understanding than my teachers, for thy testimonies are my meditations. I have more understanding than my teachers, for what you speak is what I think on. So for me to have more understanding than my teachers, I don't just read. I read, I meditate, I think about those things over and over again, and I come back. The next line, line 100 says, I have more understanding than the ancients, for I know thy law. I have more understanding than the ancients, because I know your law. So when we talk about the ancients, we are talking about professors. I have more understanding than professors, because I follow the principles of study, the principles of being a prodigy, and the principles of being a scholar. The truth is, many professors depend on young scholars to help out in their labs, in their research, in themselves. There are many ideas in the mind of a professor, and that is why he is willing to pay for a young scholar to come to him, because the professor is busy with other things. He cannot think and study about many things. He can only guide you through. Many times when students come and say, my supervisor should know this, my supervisor should know this, even your supervisor is reading about that thing and wanting to expand the knowledge. He doesn't have the time to do it. That's why he has many students. If he has the time to do it, he will do everything at once and there will be no need for any students. So most times it looks as though that is the students that need the supervisor. But the truth is, many times what the student does is to help the knowledge of the supervisor or grow the influence of the supervisor to a point where the supervisor can say that I now know this, I now know this, I now know this. So many professors are professors of one small aspect. But as they begin to have people and students coming with ideas, they sit down to look at the ideas of the students. Why some professors tend to make your work go in the line of what they have been studying or what they have been doing, but maybe in another direction, in another aspect. Some of them are open to whatever you are bringing as long as it is in their field. They might not be professors in that area. It might be their field, but they might not be professors in that area. And because they are not professors in that area, they cannot completely give you 100% explanation of the things around it. So that's why a professor would always want to graduate a PhD holder, and a PhD holder wants to graduate a master's degree holder, and a master's degree holder is looking at graduating maybe a PGD or a BSc degree holder. And that's how life goes on, because nobody is an island of knowledge. So Henry Ford also said, he said, quality means doing it right when no one is looking. So doing it right when no one is looking, doing it right when you don't have exams, doing it right when they did not say tear a sheet of paper, you have a quiz, doing it right when there is no one watching. Are you going to do it right today? It's important to do things right. And I want you to be an excellent student, not just to be an excellent student, but to move from being a student to a prodigy, and from being a prodigy to a scholar. You cannot be a scholar and not be excellent. So the aim is every student is excellent if they are willing to pursue the status of a scholar. Thank you. I appreciate. Any question I'll be expecting in the comment section or in my bio. Try as much as possible to like, comment, and subscribe. It's very important. Share the video to any student you know is struggling, and I'm sure they will also want to be a scholar. Thank you.